Hi everyone, this is Mexican Uppercuts, back again with another matchup guide for you. This time we're going to learn how to deal with JP. Before we start, if you find this video helpful, make sure to like and share, and follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Links are in the description. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is a pretty classic grappler versus zoner matchup. They're going to do everything they can to keep you away and keep your hands off of them. Sometimes your only option is to slowly walk them into the corner and then keep them caged there. Your worst enemy in these matchups is going to be your own impatience. You have to maintain your composure and try to not let them frustrate you. It's easier said than done sometimes, but as soon as you get tilted, they're going to take advantage and they're going to poke you down. Remember, you've got 1,000 extra health, so make sure you utilize it to your benefit. Sometimes you're going to take some hits, but these projectiles don't do all that much damage on their own. I mean, yeah, it gets frustrating to eat them over and over again, but they're not gonna kill you in one hit. For those of you that played tanks in a game like Overwatch, you need to think of your health as a resource that you might have to trade in order to gain some space. Doing damage isn't always necessarily your goal. Even though I know how good it feels to finally get in on JP and land that SPD, but sometimes just moving them closer to the corner and taking space while taking as little damage as possible can be considered a win. You really have to take little victories whenever you can in this matchup. This matchup is similar to fighting a character like Dalsim, where round start is extremely important. Many high-level JP players like to immediately use his EX projectile to push you away and to do drive gauge damage. Whether you block it or not, it's going to create space for them, and that's what they want. So if it pushes you away, don't panic. Just keep calm and walk forward. Okay, you have to make up an extra step of space. It's fine. It's just the nature of the matchup. Try to be unpredictable with your approach at round start. Even a round start forward jump can be worth it. Even if they anti-air you, you'll end up around here, and you'll be closer than you were at round start. Maybe even a round start drive rush might be worth it. Maybe not a normal, but just rush in and get a command grab. Be cheeky with it. You've got to be as unpredictable as you can and overwhelm their mental stack. Playing slow is exactly what JP wants you to do. So do your best to just make them panic. And once they start panicking, they'll get predictable, and you can start punishing them and really take advantage of your strengths as a grappler. Unfortunately, due to the nature of this matchup, no matter how good you are, this is going to happen to you eventually. You're going to get knocked full screen, you're going to get hit by something, and then you're going to be here. This is JP's ideal range, but luckily, it's not impossible to deal with. The spikes, and especially the portal setups, have a lot of recovery frames, so you can use the time after to kind of inch your way forward, or even forward jump to close the space. So they'll try to keep you away with stuff like this. If you notice, that portal had a lot of startup. I was able to go cover a lot of space there. That move is slow. So, what you want to do, obviously your response depends on which projectile he throws. Most JPs like to follow up the ghost with the spike. Most. Obviously, you're just going to have to react to whatever this particular JP player is doing, but you typically want to wait until you want to parry at the last possible second, because if you do it too early, as I'm getting hit by everything, if you do it too early, you're potentially wasting some drive gauge, and you need as much drive gauge as you possibly can get in this matchup. He's going to eat away at it, he's going to eat away at it pretty quickly. So, luckily, you typically don't want to drive rush at him from this range because, I mean, maybe if you see the portal or something, but that's a pretty hard read. If you drive rush at him, it gives him enough time to catch you most of the time. So typically, when you're at full screen, just parry what you can, walk forward when you can, and then once you get here, once you get at the mid-screen area, this is the money range right here. Because you're close enough to where you can jump in on him if he throws a projectile. The only spike he can really use to keep you in check is the medium one, because you know, they're all different ranges, and you're like in this dead zone here. And it gives you enough time to jump over his command grab if he decides to use it. Once you're here, this is where you want to kind of drive rush in. You're close enough to maybe drive rush in, get an SPD. Maybe you can land a sweet jump in whenever he throws a projectile. Right here, this is where you want to be as much as possible after he's pushed you to full screen. Out here at full screen, it's kind of a nightmare. You just work your way forward, just patience, patience, patience. And then once you're here, this is where you can really start to get rolling. Try not to take big risks in your approach. I mean, maybe it'll be worth jumping over some things, or, you know, trying to take some big chunks of space. It's a risk, but it's worth taking every now and then. If you just walk forward, he's going to poke you down and you'll just get frustrated. The match will slow down to a crawl. You need to vary your approach somehow. Sometimes forward dash, sometimes drive rush, sometimes jump in. Be unpredictable. He does have to commit to every option that he throws out. Just, you know, once you get close, be careful with his buttons. His buttons reach pretty far, and most of them combo into his... most of them combo, and they'll knock you all the way back to full screen again. So just keep your cool, and if you're feeling really confident, maybe try to land a spaced out overhead. The spacing is a little tough to get, especially when you're panicking and you're dealing with all these zoning options. If you're comfortable with it, give it a try. If not, just walking forward and getting in on him is more than enough. Alright, now we're going to talk about one of the strongest parts of JP's zoning game. We're going to start talking about his portal setups. This in particular is really difficult to deal with if you don't know what to look for and if you don't know his options. Typically, whenever JP sets up a portal, he has three choices. He can either use it as a teleport, he can detonate it early, or he can just let it sit there and let it self-detonate. Just so you know, if he does nothing and lets it detonate on its own, it takes just about a little over 2 seconds for it to detonate on its own. The reason this is kind of difficult to deal with is because the spike that comes out of it is plus on block. It's plus a lot. It's plus 10 on block. So it pins you down really effectively. So here's how we're going to deal with them as Zangief. First off, you don't want to parry preemptively. Like typically what a lot of people do, they'll see the portal come out and they'll immediately just be like, oh, portal, parry time. Well, maybe, but if you just hold it there forever, any JP player worth their salt isn't going to let you just do that for free. They're going to start... They're like, oh, portal, yeah, all right, I'm going to parry. And at this point, they'll just teleport in, and they'll throw you. They'll get a punish counter throw on you. So what you want to do is, first off, try to walk forward during the startup of the portal. It's got a lot of recovery frames, and it gives you an opportunity to walk forward. Maybe you won't be able to walk forward that much, but if you see them try to set up that portal, just take a couple steps forward. Now, depending on where the portal is, that's going to change your options. If he puts it... There's really only two places that you have to worry about. He's either going to put it right above your head, which is the most dangerous of the two, or he's going to put it here in front of you as kind of a, I'm going to keep this between you and me kind of thing. If he puts it here in between the two of you, this is the easiest to deal with, because honestly, you can just walk forward. Like, he can't do much with this. If he teleports in, okay, whatever, he's closer to you. If he detonates the spike, I mean, yeah, you can just walk forward and you'll block it. One quick note, when he puts the portal out, he actually can't use his command grab at all. Notice the command grab didn't come out until after the portal had already expired. And I'm going to try to do it here. It just doesn't work. He can't command grab you, so if you're feeling really scared and you like the portal is just, you don't feel like dealing with it, and you want to just sit there and block, the command grab is not going to be a threat while that portal is active. What's dangerous is when he puts the portal right above your head, because at that point, it's a mix. He might detonate the spike early. He might teleport in. Who knows? It's a mix. You got to be ready to react to it. he might just leave it sitting there. Now, here's how you deal with this. If he puts it above your head, you're going to have to react to what he does. You'll be able to see him teleport in because the animation is really, it's really telegraphed. He'll say, oh, excuses. It's just long enough for you to lariat him out of it. If he detonates the spike, then okay, maybe you get hit by it, maybe you block it. If you block it, okay, cool, it's done now. Then you can walk forward a little bit. Just keep your cool. If you see him set this up and you think he's going to teleport in on you, you can always do an anti-air lariat, or you can do a jump back light kick. Let me show you. Oh, I see it. There we go. You've got plenty of time to react. Sitting here. Now be careful. If it crosses you up, this is where the jump back light kick comes in. You might not hit it every time, but at the very least, you'll be out of there. And if you do hit it, awesome. I mean, yeah, you reset to neutral. It resets pretty far, but it works out. So those are your two options. You can react to the teleport, and if you can see he's going to be in front of you, lariat him out of the air. If you're not sure, you're just like, oh man, I don't know if he's going to cross me up or not, jump back light kick. Even if it whiffs, you're both going to whiff, and it's just going to be kind of an even trade for you. Even trades are winning trades for Zangief in this matchup, because every little bit of health and drive gauge that you can save is totally worth it. Alright, so you finally made it through the obstacle course, and you're here in about this range. Now what? JP actually has extremely strong defense for a zoner, so you need to be careful even when you finally made it here into his dead zone. Sitting in this space can be pretty effective because you're out of range of a lot of his buttons, and you have enough time to react to him trying to jump out or drive rush at you. I mean, if they jump back away from you, awesome, then hey, you're pushing them closer to the corner. If they try to jump at you, you can just lariat them. If they try to drive rush at you, you can check them with a crouching medium punch. I would not recommend trying to use just a raw drive impact at this range, because since JP is a zoner, and he's gonna wait for you to make a big commitment on a move. So they'll sit, and a lot of people do this to Zangief, it's just the nature of the character. Sometimes they'll just sit there at this range where you kind of can't do much. They'll wait for you to take a big risk to either drive rush or maybe do a drive impact or something that they can react to. Just, you know, be careful using that option there. If you want to just do a big call out and just drive impact him from here, just keep in mind that it's a risky option. Your light SPD has a lot more range than it looks, so it's definitely an option that you can utilize, especially in your corner pressure. It might not seem like it, but you can grab him from pretty far away. It's like over here. So you'll get them panicking. They're just like, oh, what do I do? Oh, SPD. They'll if you've pinned them down with some buttons or something, that grab is one way to just crack them open. Standing at medium kick is a good option as well because it's long range. It's not cancelable or anything, but if they try to jump, it'll typically catch them. And it's just a low commitment, low risk option that you can do if you're ever just like, hey, I just want to keep you here. I don't want to, like, I'm not going to make a big commitment with an SPD or something, but you're for sure not going anywhere. And you don't want to get close enough for like a crouching medium punch or something. So yeah, staying medium kick is a pretty good corner pressure option. You want to keep them caged in here as much as you can. Like sitting at this range, similar to where we were at mid-screen, is good because JP is going to have to use a big button in order to try to hit you or to try to, you know, punch his way out of there. Make sure you've got your lariat locked and loaded. A lot of them are going to try to jump forward and get out of this for free. So yeah, just, I mean, typical corner pressure stuff. You do this with any character really, but against JP especially. You need to have your anti-airs on lock, and you need to just keep calm. Don't do anything too committal, or just keep yourself as unpredictable as you can. Headbutt is another strong option for some plus frames. A lot of JP players, when they start panicking, they're gonna want to use his heavy punch, especially. It's because it's a nice big button, and they're gonna want to go into his heavy swipe because it knocks you away. If you see them go for this a lot, you can actually drive impact it. Let me get this recording going again. So if they try to commit to this, assuming I don't get hit by it the second time, they don't have enough time to react to counter your DI. So if they get predictable with that heavy swipe, that's a good time to use your drive impact. But the biggest threat is their their EX counter. You've probably seen this a ton. Where is it at? Amnesia. They're going to use this on Wake Up, and it's going to absolutely stuff anything you do. This is just their get out of jail free card. It even counters throws, which is really dumb. It'll even counter your super. A lot of people don't like this. Yeah, and if it counters your super, you're going to eat the mines for free. A lot of people don't, they complain about this, but I mean, he's using meter for it. It's his only real reversal. Like, he kind of needs it. He's got, you can't just, once you get in on a zoner, they can't just be dead. They need some kind of get off me tool. So if you see the counter coming, bait it out and absolutely destroy him. That's an example of a good counter hit combo, a good punish counter combo in the corner. So he's, yeah, once he's in the corner, just bait stuff. He doesn't have, he's got strong defense, but it's all high commitment and extremely punishable. It's just like a Shoto. They're gonna use a Wake Up super. His level 1 is invincible, so be careful for that. Once he has 1 bar of super gauge, be ready for that Wake Up level 1 super. Be ready for that EX counter. You can't even use your SPD to deal with it. Just bait it out. Again, stay unpredictable. Overwhelm their mental stack. As long as you make them panic, they're going to be more inclined to use that EX counter. And as soon as they use this and you bait them, you win. They're never going to want to use it again after taking this much damage. Especially if you've poked them down a little bit with some headbutts and just, you know, solid neutral. So again, once you get them in this corner, do your best to keep them caged, keep your anti-airs on lock, bait out that EX counter, use your light SPD to the fullest, and you should be good. That, like, once you get JP in the corner, he's gonna panic. They might try to set up a portal and teleport out, but deal with that the same way that we did before. Just jump back light kick to keep him in check, or lariat if he's gonna land in front of you. Once you're here, you're golden. You should have the match in your hands. This matchup might feel impossible sometimes, and to be honest, there will be some times where they've got your timing, they zone you perfectly, and they just get a perfect. A slow 30-second death by 1,000 cuts perfect. It's the nature of these kinds of matchups. Sometimes you'll steamroll and you'll make every right read and you'll get a perfect on them. It's the way it is. Sometimes you just get JP'd. But remember, once you get in, once you actually make it through the obstacle course that is their zoning, their advantage is gone. And it only takes one good grab or knockdown to get rolling. You land a sweep, all right, time to go. You land 1 SPD, all right, my game plan begins. Like, once you get them on the back foot, you can't let your foot off the gas at all. You've got to keep the pressure on, stay as unpredictable as you can. Overwhelm their mental stack. Don't let them play the game slow. Just be patient when you're at full screen and work your way in through that obstacle course. Do your best to capitalize on any opportunities that they give you, especially at the lower ranks. They're bound to make a mistake somewhere. So hopefully this makes the matchup a little bit easier. I know that it seemed just kind of like a random stream of consciousness sometimes. That's the nature of JP. Not every person is going to play him the same. They might throw the projectiles in a different order. Some of them might be more aggressive. Some of them might be more passive. I didn't want to go all inclusive because honestly, we could be here all day. But this should make it more manageable for you. And I thank you for sticking around. Hopefully y'all have a great day and take care. I'll see you in the next one.